My name is Casey Jones. My ID number is 3417644. This is for the summer 2020 VTHT 22-23 semester, and in this video I'll be demonstrating how to perform a blood smear and a packed cell volume. For this clip, then I'm going to be demonstrating how to perform just kind of maintenance on the microscope. Obviously you want to make sure that after the oil immersions that we wipe down any debris off of each of the lenses. We've got optical tissue that we can do for that. It's most beneficial also to make sure that this form here is down low enough so that if another person comes in to use it, that they aren't going to accidentally bump it into the stage. It's also beneficial to wipe down the eyepieces. And we sometimes will use even alcohol on these optical tissues to wipe down any oil that might be on the stage. And about once a year it does go through a professional cleaning, and any changing of the light bulb is done obviously when that gets burnt out. In the end of the day we always cover it and protect it overnight while we're gone. To start this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to acquire a blood sample. I've got my sterile needle, I've got my alcohol, as well as the test tube that I need. My assistant, I've got him in the sternal recumbency here, and my assistant's going to occlude the vein. Good buddy. Just rolling the vein off to make it accessible. I'm going to locate my vein here. Apply some of the alcohol. Good buddy. And then with the bevel side up, do a little bit of a drawback until I get a flash, like so, and then start withdrawing as much of the sample as needed. Good boy. And then I'll have you hold off on that. And then I'm going to place this into our lavender tube top that does have the anticoagulant in it. And then I will label this so that I can send it off to the lab. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to do a blood smear. I've got my blood sample, pipette, and 2 microscope slides that I will use to make the smear itself. I'm going to collect my sample from the tube using my pipette. And then I'm going to place a drop on the side closest to the frosted edge. Then I'm going to use my other slide to come across at a 45-degree angle all the way back and then draw it forward in order to make the smear. Like so. I've got the feathered edge on this side and the more thicker side on this one. I'm gonna let this dry and then we'll come back and stain it. For this next video, we will be staining the blood smear that I collected earlier. I've got my stain, or my smear, my distilled water to rinse at the end, as well as the Dip Quick staining solutions. This first one is the fixative that'll go in for about 5 to 10 seconds. Do a blot at the bottom to wipe off excess, and then into the other 2 solutions.
Oliver is here for his appointment. Owner's information is on the whiteboard.
Thank you. Perfect. And then I will rinse both sides with the distilled water to get the stain off. We'll allow time for this to dry, and then we will come back and read it under the microscope. Demonstrating how to read the blood smear that I've stained previously. I'm going to look under it, under the 10 power. And then do a quick scan once I get focused here. There we go. Looking for any groupings, any abnormal. And then I'm going to locate the feathered edge and find the monolayer that is closest to that feathered edge in order to then do my oil immersion. And then I'm going to drop the stage here, put it in between the two settings, place my oil drop, and then switch over to the 100 and bring the stage up into focus. And then from here, I can then scan for any abnormalities or even just look at the different white blood cell and red blood cell morphologies. I will be demonstrating how to do the packed cell volume using the blood sample that we collected earlier. I've got my hematocrit tubes, the clay, as well as my settings to go into the centrifuge. I'm going to collect my sample by inserting this into the blood and letting this draw up to the top, just about the top. And I'm going to add some clay in order to plug up one of the bottom sides. Perfect, and I'm going to do a second sample so that way it balances out in the centrifuge. Perfect. And then both of these are going to go across from each other with the clay facing out. Make sure I've got enough clay here. Perfect. I'll take this top part off. Again, the clay is pointing on the outside. And then if you come over here, we'll set this down in the centrifuge. And I've got this set at the hematocrit setting, and I'm going to hit go. We'll let that spin, we'll come back and we'll read the samples. For this video, I will be demonstrating how to read my packed cell volume that we measured earlier. I'm going to line up the top of the plasma to this top 100 line, and then the very bottom of the red blood cell that was spun down to the bottom line. And I'm going to move it kind of along this reader here until those numbers and those lines match up. It's about right there. And then I'm going to read where the plasma and the red blood cells meet. So I've got, it's like 54 for that one. And then from my centrifuge sample from the packed cell volume, I'm going to then read the total solids test. I'm going to break my hematocrit tube right above the red blood cells. Use that to get onto my refractometer. Point at a light source to be able to get the reading. And I'm looking at about a 7 reading.